In this time of great unease, we wondered what was happening at Apple. With John Dickerson of 60 Minutes, we're about to find out from CEO Tim Cook.
As we speak right now, you're full of secrets.
I'm full of secrets, and it's hard not to overflow right now. But I've been trained well.
Tim Cook will finally get to share those secrets tomorrow when he kicks off Apple's 31st annual Worldwide Developers Conference.
We want to talk about now the next opportunity to transform the world.
It's a gathering of programmers from around the world who create the content that fuels what Apple calculates is a $500 billion app-based economy.
Well, if you're a consumer, you find out some of your most favorite software features are announced there. If you're a developer, you get some new technology that you can incorporate in your app and make your app even better. And if you're somebody like me that sort of steps back and looks at it all, you see the intersection of technology and the liberal arts, and it really makes your heart sing.
So are you among your people there when this happens?
Oh yes, I'm among everyone. If it were physical, I'd be right there with everybody else.
But the conference will not be physical this year. For the same reason, we're doing this interview 2,500 miles apart. It's a consequence of COVID-19. Apple will host a virtual conference promising more than just a grainy workaround. They're promising to innovate the form.
And we are calling it iPhone.
Apple's iPhone, introduced in 2007, has transformed not just communication, but nearly every aspect of our lives. And the iPhone has helped make Apple one of the wealthiest companies in the world, with a market capitalization comparable to the gross domestic products of Australia, Spain, or even Saudi Arabia. Apple has a market cap of about $1.4 trillion. What is the role of the CEO in a socially responsible company that has that kind of size in the world?
You know, there was a time back many years ago where CEOs were just supposed to focus on profits only and not so much the constituencies. And that's never been my view. I've never subscribed to that.
Cook recently posted a statement on Apple's homepage addressing the death of George Floyd at the hands of Minneapolis police, an incident that may very well have gone unnoticed if not for cell phone video. Do you ever reflect on the role the iPhone has played in being able to record moments like the nearly 9 minutes that George Floyd had an officer's knee on his neck?
We are humbled by it. We are humbled by it. And if you look back in time, some of the most dramatic societal changes have occurred because someone captured video. This was true about things that happened in Birmingham. It was true about things that happened in Selma. The thing that has changed, though, and we're very proud of this, is that we put a camera in everybody's pocket. And so it becomes much tougher as a society, I believe, to convince themselves that it didn't happen, or that it happened in a different manner, or whatever it might be. And I think fundamentally, this one will change the world.
Tim Cook has been Apple's CEO for nearly a decade now, and he is a product of a very different world. He was born in 1960 in the small town Robertsdale, Alabama. Do you remember your first experience with racism?
I remember, John, as if it were yesterday, seeing doors that said, and sometimes it had been tried to scratch through, whites only. And fundamentally not understanding how people could convince themselves that this was right. I do believe optimistically this is one of those moments that we can make significant progress. For so many things, it seems like there's such slow progress. And then all of a sudden, there's a giant leap.
You want to make that leap bigger.
That's exactly right.
6 years ago, Cook took a leap of his own, becoming the first openly gay Fortune 500 CEO. The Supreme Court recently said that there can no longer be discrimination against people based on their orientation. What was your reaction to that?
I was incredibly grateful for their opinion, and I applaud the the justices who stood up and did that.
Cook's outspokenness on civil rights has put him on what might appear to be a collision course with President Donald Trump. In your interactions with Donald Trump, you have a lot of issues that Apple cares about, but the administration also has policies on immigration, on human rights that are totally antithetical to your personal views. Do you bring up some of these issues with Donald Trump in your conversations?
Of course I do. And on that issue, in my mind, as I said before, all roads lead to equality. I believe that everyone should be treated with dignity and respect. It's basically that simple. And that we start life on this equal footing, and then the people that work hard can get ahead and those sorts of things, but we should start life on an equal footing. And I long for that day.
There is one issue, however, where Cook appears to see eye to eye with the president, keeping corporate taxes low. What is the metric you think about in terms of your desire to be socially responsible and your fiduciary duty to keep basically paying as low taxes as possible?
Well, our responsibility is to pay what we owe, just plain and simple.
But as you think about it, paying what you owe is that's the standard. Every company does that. Is there a way in which the value proposition you've been talking about operates when it comes to paying taxes?
Well, you can see that we do a lot more than pay taxes. We turned the company upside down to help the world on COVID and donated all of that, hundreds of millions of dollars. And so I think my own view is you pay what you owe in taxes and then you give back to society. And Apple is clearly doing that.
COVID-19 is affecting more than just the company's bottom line. Take a look at Apple's multi-billion-dollar California headquarters. It's nearly empty. And Tim Cook would like nothing more than to get his people back under one gleaming roof.
That is the biggest challenge, I would say, in what we're dealing with. The thing that I worry that will be missing is the serendipity that we all count on. And so for that reason, I can't wait until we're all back together again.
We are all called in the age of COVID-19 to tolerate extraordinary uncertainty. How has it been managing that, both in terms of products and also your employees, the uncertainty of the world we live in now?
Well, people generally dislike uncertainty. I would say as a general rule. I know very few people that thrive on uncertainty. They try to take an uncertain thing and make it a bit more certain. They do that by estimating where things are going, by predicting the worst that can happen and the best that can happen. And we have done all of those things, I would tell you. But the most important thing for us is we viewed it as a challenge to overcome.